Tonight we have new information about a secret taking place at drugstores all over the country. 13 Investigates discovered many patients facing delays when it comes to getting their medication. Well, now it appears some customers are being turned away altogether. Our senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel shows you how at some pharmacies the controversy and the tension are growing.
Imagine every step feeling like a mile. Imagine hurting so much you can't even stand up. For millions of people living in chronic pain, these are the challenges they face every day. Some of these people say the challenge is getting worse because they say the one place that used to offer them relief is now adding insult to their injury.
They actually refused to fill your prescription.
They refused it.
And I was told to leave the premises or the police would be called.
Embarrassed that I had to go through it all.
And what's happening to these people is happening without warning all over the country. We're not showing their faces because they're all scared. They all take powerful pain pills that are frequently at the center of break-ins and robberies. They all have something else in common. They say they're all victims of a new policy at Walgreens.
I felt they didn't care about me as a patient.
Walgreens has been very quiet about its new policy, which 13 Investigates exposed a few weeks ago. It involves pharmacists calling to verify your prescription with your doctor and checking your detailed drug history before they'll fill a prescription for certain types of medication. Doctors' offices say they're now getting a lot of calls from Walgreens pharmacists, and they say the new policy is causing delays for patients who really need their pain pills.
The pharmacist will call and will further investigate. They'll say, why is this patient getting this script? What's wrong with them? What's their diagnosis? How long are they going to be on it? How long have they been on it? They're not just filling the scripts anymore.
Walgreens says its new policy is designed to curb prescription drug abuse, which is now a national epidemic. But there's another reason for the new rules. Walgreens has no choice. It's part of a brand new settlement agreement the company has with the government after Walgreens was busted for blatantly violating federal law. Investigators say Walgreens repeatedly filled bogus prescriptions for pain pills, and many of those pills then end up on the street. Last month, Walgreens agreed to pay an $80 million fine for those violations, and the crackdown has made Walgreens much more careful about filling these types of prescriptions. But customers are now coming forward to say Walgreens is going much too far.
It is nothing more than one hassle after another, after another, after another. And the only one suffering here is me.
This Walgreens customer suffers from multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, and peripheral neuropathy.
It's like a Charlie horse times 10. It feels like you're grabbing my muscles, twisting them with all your might, while holding some type of hot coal underneath my legs. There's this horrible burning sensation.
For years, his doctor has prescribed him both oxycodone and OxyContin to battle his constant chronic pain.
That's a lot of pain medication.
Yes, for the most part, this combination over the last years has been the only thing that has kept me from taking my life.
After getting the same medication from the same Walgreens pharmacy for years, he went in to get a simple refill. That's when he was told the drugstore now had to verify his prescription, and that could take up to 5 days. Since he had just 1 day of pain pills left, this longtime Walgreens customer asked for his prescription back so he could take it to a different pharmacy. The pharmacist refused.
He wouldn't give you your prescription back so you could go somewhere else.
That's correct. I had no choice but to leave him there until he was able to fill them.
And when he protested,
I was told to leave the premises or the police would be called.
the pharmacy finally called to say it had received enough information to refill his prescription. But that call did not come for 3.5 days.
What were those 3 days like for you?
Living hell. Living hell. I was in pretty bad shape. There was literally nothing I could do.
This Walgreens customer says she was treated even worse.
I've been going to the same Walgreens for 8 years.
She suffers from thrombosis, a dangerous condition that fills her legs with blood clots.
It is very painful.
That pain is controlled by 2 different types of oxycodone. For years, she'd been getting her pain pills at this Walgreens near Lawrence.
No problems, no questions asked. Everyone in there knew me by my first name. I knew them.
Then everything changed. Just one day after Walgreens settled its $80 million federal complaint involving improper dispensing of pain medication, this longtime customer tried to get a refill. That's when she learned her Walgreens pharmacist no longer wanted her business.
They simply refused it.
They refused it. And he said, we suggest you take it to CVS, because at this point we're just feeding an addiction. He was very loud, and it was right in the open when he basically called me an addict. And at that point I was so upset I just left.
Federal law does require pharmacists to take steps to ensure prescriptions are legitimate. But do stories like these suggest some Walgreens pharmacists are going to extremes?
I feel they're playing doctor.
He was basically telling my doctor what to prescribe for me. It's very upsetting to be treated this way.
What can we do? How are we going to turn this around? We don't deserve it.
Walgreens won't meet with us to discuss its new policy. And when it comes to the customer complaints you just heard, Walgreens won't discuss that with us either. But the company did send us a statement saying our good faith dispensing policy is intended to be used consistently by our pharmacists for each individual prescription. We've posted Walgreens' full statement at WTHR.com. I'm Bob Siegel, Channel 13 Eyewitness News.